Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for being here today. My name is Marta Manriquez. I'm the coordinator of the Graduate Student Center. And with us today, we have um, Ms. Kimber Wellman, financial aid counselor and scholarship coordinator. And I also have our student assistant at the Graduate Student Center, Abby Kirkendall. We'll be here today. If you have any questions, please, you can write them on the chat or we'll address those at the end of the presentation. You can also unmute yourself and ask your question. Okay, well, thank you very much, Kimber, for being here today. I'll let you go on.
Hey, thanks for having me, Martha. Hi everybody. Looks like we have a pretty small group and this can be a good thing. So I'm going to go through a presentation on general information on how to afford, plan, what are some of the costs that come up with graduate school. Since it is such a small group, if you guys have questions as we're going, feel free to unmute yourself as I'm even going through the presentation. So if you have a question related to a slide that's up, okay? Go ahead and get that going. Can you guys see that okay? Good.
Yes.
So again, yeah, you're good. So again, my name is Kim Wellman. I am a CSUB alumnus myself. Got my bachelor's and my master's here at CSUB. And so kind of been there, know what it's like, know some of the struggles. So we're going to go through the presentation. Again, please let me know if you have any questions. So the four things that we're really going to touch bases on in this presentation are application and testing fees related to graduate school, how to look at published cost versus what your actual out-of-pocket cost might be, and where can you find that information, different financial tools, and then the financial aid process itself. So we're going to start with application fees. Just like when you were getting in for your bachelor's, when you go to apply to graduate school, there's usually a fee involved, okay? Most application fees are between $50, $85, $100. You'll find there are some schools out there that are quite a bit more, and there's a handful of schools that also do not charge an application fee. When you go to apply, if the application fee is a concern, always reach out to the school that you're applying to. A lot of them will offer application waivers, so they can help you with that application fee. If you need to do testing before you can apply to your program, because you need a test score. Some programs, some majors, some schools require GRE. Some will require the GMAT and some the LSATs. So I put up there the current cost. Those are updated just as of yesterday to taking those tests. So as you're kind of planning on, what will it take to even just get started? So far we're looking at application cost and testing fees, okay? And then again, always touch bases with the school. Some schools, and I think we might even still have some assistance available for some testing fees. But whatever school you're looking at going to or the school you're currently attending, they might have some like fee reduction waivers or some full fee waivers. So always touch bases with them here on campus. It would be the Graduate Student Center to see if there's any help available with those fees. Published cost versus out of pocket. This is one of the biggest topics that you really want to dig into and consider when you're thinking about going to graduate school, or if you're already in graduate school, what's it really going to look like cost-wise? So when you look at any school, you can go to their website and look up the semester or annual or quarterly fees for attending a master's program, okay? So what are the actual fees? Then what am I looking at for housing, for food, for personal supplies? And you can build a total cost of attendance as to what it would cost to just pay for everything out of pocket, okay? Then once you apply, the school's going to make you a financial aid offer. They might be offering fellowships. They might offer grants, scholarships. But you always want to look at what the total cost of attendance is minus the aid. That kind of gives you your out of pocket that you can plan on, prepare for what's it going to actually cost me to go to that school, okay? This is just an example of what a cost of attendance budget looks like. These are our current for the current year here at CSUB for graduate students. So if you're currently attending CSUB undergrad, graduate credential, we have a cost of attendance budget for you behind the scenes, okay? The factors that go into that are, have you indicated you're living with parent on campus or off campus? And then everything else is pretty much an estimate of what it costs the average student to attend school for the year. So when you see those transportation costs, you'll see that like on campus is a lot less because students who live on campus don't have to travel back and forth, right? You look at miscellaneous personal expenses, same thing, because if you're on campus, like there's a lot of your utilities are covered, those kinds of things. So books and materials are projected, and then for us here at CSUB, the tuition fees are actual. Here at CSUB, if you're in the MBA program, there is an additional $285 per unit on top of those fees as well. So this is something to think about if you're considering, okay, I've got my bachelor's. Do I just want to dive into work? Do I want to go straight into my master's, or credential? What is the best option? So financially, this is a great example of information that is out there and available. So you can look and see, okay, let's say if I'm going to go into biology, coming out as a bachelor's, the average salary, and this is about 2 years old, I believe, it's $41,000, okay? Coming out with a master's, it's $63,000. So if you look at like, okay, my out-of-pocket cost after everything, let's say it's $10,000 a year, 2 years to do my master's. In 1 year, I can make up that cost in a salary difference of $20,000 between the bachelor's and the master's. So just something you want to think about as you're looking, is it really financially, wise? Is it going to benefit me to really go get this master's degree right away? These are some considerations that you want to look at. I believe this particular resource updates its information. They do surveys, I believe, every 3 years to look at the difference between bachelor's and master's. So there will be a new one coming out next year. But it's a great resource to go look at. You want to look at not only your major, but the market where you plan on living, okay? Because the market for IT might be a lot different here in the Bakersfield area than it is up in the Bay Area, for example. So make sure you look at those factors, both your major and the market you plan on living in. Okay. This is one of the most common questions we get in financial aid is, should I still do a FAFSA? Should I still do a DREAM Act? Yes, absolutely you should, okay? Here in the CSU system, we can still offer state university grants. If you meet the requirements and funds are available as graduate students. So pretty much any campus you're going to go to is going to use your financial application, whether it's the FAFSA or DREAM Act, to determine what aid you might be eligible for. So scholarships will also use that. Even if a scholarship is a merit-based scholarship, not a need-based scholarship, they're going to want to look to make sure that you're not eligible for financial aid dollars that you're missing out on by not doing the FAFSA. So always do the FAFSA and DREAM Act every year. The usual deadline for California is March 2nd. This year it's March 3rd because the 2nd's on a Sunday. So we pushed it back to March 3rd. So that is here in California. If you're going to be attending a different state, Rhode Island, Texas, Hawaii, that'd be nice. Every state's going to have a different deadline. So FAFSA does have that application or those dates published. So the link is on there and you can go hit that link. And if you know you're going to a school in Wisconsin, when do I need to have my FAFSA or dream, or it won't be a dream, but my FAFSA completed by, okay? So just be aware there's different deadlines for every state. So some different types of aid that can be available are scholarships. Scholarships are funds that you do not have to pay back. And they can be based on anything, your background, your hobbies, your sports, your major, your parents' job. There's scholarships out there for everything. Some can be completely merit-based, some are completely financial need-based. Most scholarships fall somewhere in the middle, and take a look at both, okay? We have our scholarship portal here on campus. There are also many outside search engines that you can use to go look for scholarships. If you decide and you are attending somewhere else to go for your graduate degree, please be sure to check their scholarship options. Almost every school will have a portal where you can go in and apply directly for their campus-based scholarships as well. Grants or other free funds that you don't have to repay, these are usually need-based. So again, that FAFSA or DREAM Act here in California. Fellowships, those are awards that graduate students typically compete for. So sometimes they're application-based, sometimes competition-based. So again, always check with the school that you're going to go to and take a look to see what fellowships could be available. Assistantships or work study, and those are usually funds you can use or earn through work on campus. Okay? And then loans as a last reserve if you need it. There's loans available, private and federal. Hey, here at CSUB, some of the aid that we offer specifically here. If you've done your FAFSA and you're going into a master's program, you will always be offered your unsubsidized loan. The maximum loan you can take out per year is $20,500. Credential students can still possibly get subsidized loans if they have unmet need. And if they're independent students, they can get an additional $7,000 in unsub, and these are annual numbers. Credential students could possibly also receive Pell if they still have Pell Grant remaining from their undergraduate. And if you're fully admitted to the credential program, you do have to be fully admitted, not conditionally admitted. And some other grants that are out there now are the Federal Teach Grant, Golden State Teacher Grant, Middle Class Scholarship, as well as Work Study on campus. Student aid programs, we have the State University Grant, which I mentioned earlier. The MBA grant, and that's for those students who are charged that extra $285 per unit. It can help cover some of that cost. And there are quite a few new state grants that are out there for credential students as well. Our Graduate Student Center offers a Graduate Equity Fellowship, and the awards typically range from $500 to a couple $1,000. And those are applied for directly with the Graduate Student Center. And then there's also private loans available through banks and other private lenders. So some things to keep in mind, the aid will vary by state as far as grants. Every state will have different grant programs. So make sure you look into that wherever you're going. A lot of those will be based on state residency. So if you're looking at going to Tennessee and it says they have this great Tennessee Master's Grant, you want to kind of dig and make sure, do I need to have been a Tennessee resident for 2 years, or can I qualify right away? Because that'll vary. Scholarships, fellowships, assistantships will also vary by school, by program, and as well as your major. So there's some links there that you can use to search for outside scholarships, so that are not determined by what school you're going to. We have about 20,000 outside scholarships available in Scholarship Universe, which is our CSUB portal. You can log into directly from your My CSUB. It's down on the bottom right. The more questions you answer, the more scholarships you can be matched to. So, and again, it has our CSUB scholarships. that we update every year. Application is open right now for next year. So if you could be coming back next year as a graduate student, credential student, undergrad student, if you're still in your undergrad, please make sure you get into Scholarship Universe and start applying. The deadline is currently March 3rd, but based on FAFSA, what happens with FAFSA and Dream App, we might push that back a little bit and extend the deadline. But you want to get in there as soon as you can. There's also a link there. It says External Scholarships, California State University, Bakersfield. That's a webpage that we have that lists, I think, about 15 to 20 external scholarship engines. So these are just other things that you can use to go look at to see if you can find scholarships that you do want to apply to that match your eligibility. Okay. Some notes on receiving aid as a graduate student, and this is specific here to CSUB. Again, make sure you've done your FAFSA or DREAM Act. If we've requested documentation, submit it as soon as possible. Just know that we can't move forward with getting you awarded until we've processed whatever documentation we might need. For us to award you, you have to be admitted to the campus and at least conditionally admitted to your program, or fully admitted to your program. Enrollment, 3 units is considered half-time as a master's student. For a credential student, it's the same as undergrad. It's 6 units is half-time and 12 units or more is full-time. You must be meeting SAP with a minimum GPA of 3.0. Now that does start over once you go into a PBAC program. Your GPA starts all over. So your undergrad GPA does not follow you and carry forward. And you must be passing at least 67% of the classes. Okay? Some other things are just like with your undergrad, make sure you sign up for direct deposit. So any refunds can be sent to you as soon as possible. And that is done through your My CSUB portal. All right, so we are ready for questions. So if you guys want to unmute yourself, ask any questions. There is our social media links. Our Instagram is fantastic. I'm going to tell you, our student workers run our Instagram. And so they keep it very time relevant as to what's going on during the semester. A lot of important information on there. Facebook page is okay, but the Instagram is great and updated regularly. This is our office contact information. And here is my direct email here at CSUB as well. So as you start kind of digging into your next step in your educational journey, if you want to sit with me and look at your school's website where you plan on going, we can dig into their scholarship system together. We can look at their grants, their fellowships. More than happy to sit with you and take a look at what might be out there. Even if it's at a different school, different state, we can kind of sort through that together. If you have any financial need questions also that are kind of sensitive, some stuff is hard to talk about in an open forum, please reach out to me and we can talk about that as well. So again, there's my email. Abby or Martha, if you can throw that in the chat as well, that would be great.
There's
And
a question on the chat, Kim.
All right. What types of financial aid are available for international graduate students? It's a good question. So here at CSUB, it would be only scholarships. All of the grants we can offer are based on FAFSA eligibility, but the scholarships would be the same as any other master's student. We have very, very few scholarships that have a citizenship requirement. Most of them do not. So again, you can get in there and apply for scholarships through our portal, but there would not be any state university grants. It would be scholarships. That's a great question. Anybody else?
Kimber, we have that out-of-state tuition fee waiver that is also open to international students. However, there's very few of them. It's very competitive, but we do have some there. They are on the Graduate Student Center website under funding opportunities on our main website.
Thank you for pointing that out, Martha. So, Deepika, what is MSHCA? Can you explain that to me?
It's the Masters in Healthcare, Kimber.
Masters in Healthcare. And so if you've started, thank you. So if you've started this semester and you're talking about spring, there might still be some external scholarships out there that are open for the current year. Most everything now is open for the upcoming year, but you could definitely get in there and start applying for those. If there's any outside scholarships that are still open for the current year, the system, our scholarship universe system will tell you because the deadlines would be coming up really, really soon. Okay, so most scholarships right now are going to be for next year. Did that answer your question okay, Deepika?
Deepika, if I can send you some information on that out-of-state tuition fee waiver. I'm gonna write down your name and look you up.
So Martha, that's a waiver for international fees.
It's for out-of-state students, so anybody out of California or international students. But to be
Awesome.
honest, I believe there's only 5 or 6 that they award. But since you are here, I will send you the information. It is open, it's advertised, it's on our website. You need to be nominated by your director, the director of your program. Is it Dr. Palito? Still, I think it's him. But it is for next year. It will be for next year.
So in Topeka, you said you're gonna get into Scholarship Universe. If you guys have any questions or need any help navigating that, let me know. And we can schedule time to meet here on campus or through Zoom and we can go through it together. Be more than happy to walk through it with you. You guys are making this way too easy on me. Any other questions out there?
We're
You're
gonna put
very
a,
welcome.
we're gonna put a survey link on the chat. I don't know if it's there already. If you wanna it's anonymous, so please give us your feedback as to if this was helpful, or if you want other information added that maybe we didn't cover.
Yeah, and this presentation is designed around what we think you guys need and what you want to hear. So any feedback, any suggestions, any ideas on how to make it better is really helpful and appreciated.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I have on the financial aid under federal Pell Grant usage, I have like 496%, and it says I have 103% left remaining of the Pell Grant fund remaining. Would I be able, like, will they approve that to just, like, is there any reason why they wouldn't?
Approve that for a credential program?
For, yeah, for a master's program?
So unfortunately, as in a master's program, the Pell Grant, you're no longer eligible. It cannot be used for any master's programs.
Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, currently, I know that's something that's up in legislation, but right now, probably not going to happen anytime soon.
Is the federal Pell Grant the only grant in financial aid, or is there others
If you're going here to CSUB, there is also the State University Grant if you're a California resident. So for graduate students, it is out there. It's a very limited amount of money that we have. So the sooner you do the FAFSA and the sooner you turn in any documents, the more likely it is we can get you awarded. If you're
Okay.
here as a master's student and you've gotten your aid package and it's not in there, you're welcome to reach out to me and I'll take a look and see if you're eligible, and then if there's funds available, we can try to get you awarded.
Okay,
'Cause-
yeah, I was just, no, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Sorry.
But yeah, please reach out if you don't see it. And sometimes we're just out. You know, you're eligible, but we've spent what we have. But then I know I'll keep like a running list of students who've reached out. And because funds can still become available as other students don't attend. We recycle those funds. So it never hurts to reach out and ask.
I did notice that the FAFSA was really simple. I don't know if it was maybe this year, but it didn't really ask a lot of information. So I'm not sure how they can really see if I qualify for certain grants or not.
So when you do the FAFSA now, the biggest difference is you're giving your consent for FAFSA to automatically talk to the IRS. So all the income information that you like maybe had to manually enter before, FAFSA is automatically pulling that from the IRS, whether you filed, whether you didn't, what your status was, and all of the numbers. So that's one reason it goes so quickly now is if FAFSA can find you with the IRS, you really have to only answer a handful of questions. There's not a lot to answer.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so don't think you did it wrong. You probably did it right.
Okay, good.
I have a question. Those students that are beyond the master's, like maybe law school or PhDs, programs that we don't offer at a CSU, do they still do the FAFSA?
Still do the FAFSA because the loans are still available, if
Okay.
nothing else. But again, for scholarship purposes, I would always recommend doing the FAFSA. That's what most schools will use to determine financial need. Even for their private schools will have a lot of other grants out there, even for PhDs and doctoral programs. So if there's any chance you're going to be attending, do your FAFSA. It doesn't hurt you to do it, but it can really hurt you to not do it. So really recommend you do it as soon as you can. If there is any chance you're just thinking about attending school next year, do it as soon as you can. They open October 1st is the planned opening date, every year moving forward.
Does FAFSA automatically like sign you up for scholarships?
FAFSA, so if you've done your FAFSA and you've gotten your SAI number and you put the school, you have to indicate which schools have access to your FAFSA. So like here at CSUB, if you've done your FAFSA, we have your information. It does automatically load into our scholarship system to look for students who are financial aid eligible. So let's say as a master's student, we have a scholarship that requires you be in public administration and that you have financial need of more than $10,000 and you have a GPA of 3.5. We'll pull all of that from the student system. And then if you go into Scholarship Universe, it's going to be like, hey, you're eligible for this scholarship. Do you want to come apply for it? Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. I will throw the Scholarship Universe link in there right now. And then also again on your My CSUB, when you log in, down towards the bottom right is a little section that says important links. Scholarship Universe is on there as well. So once you click it, it'll take you to the portal. The login is the same as your My CSUB. It's your net ID and password. Are there any questions in there we missed? I missed.
Yeah, we're good.
For somebody that asked about a master's program, if you're a California resident and you are doing a master's programs through the CSUB side, not the extended university, in that same link that I put in there, there's the Graduate Equity Fellowship. And that one is open to California residents and also to students that are DACA, is that the right word? Or CADA? CADA? Okay.
California Dream Act.
Yeah.
DACA is a whole nother ballgame.
I'm gonna put our email address there. You can email us.
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us today too. And if questions pop into your head later, again, please don't hesitate to email me or reach out to financial aid. You are always welcome to email me directly. And if it's not my program or answer, I will get you to the right person and get you the answer.
Thank you, Kim.
Well, thank you. Thanks again for having me, everybody.
Thanks everyone for coming. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.